Hey guys, Dale here, back with a brand new series. We are doing a vampire medieval run, which I've wanted to do for a long time. This is going to be part 0, so we're just going to go through kind of like the game setup, mods, ideology, what the world looks like, all that fun stuff. If you want to jump right into gameplay, feel free to skip this video and head over to part 1, where I'll see you there. Let's go ahead and I guess let's pop right into the Steam Workshop and we'll take a look at some of the key mods for this playthrough. Workshop. There we go. Vanilla Factions Expanded Medieval 2, which I'm pretty excited about. We haven't played with this yet. We played with Vanilla Factions Expanded Medieval before, but this just kind of like brings a lot of stuff together. You have like the kingdoms from the previous mods. The Vikings have been rolled into this mod. Merchants Guild is new with this new barter UI, and then just tons and tons of different apparel items that are medieval themed, as well as weapons and structures, foods and production chains. So we will delve into a lot of that. Medieval Overhaul. I feel like this is one of the most comprehensive overhaul mods out there, currently being maintained by Viral Reaction for the like 1.5, 1.6 versions. I think Sir Lalapion is working on a lot of enhancements or reworks for the actual like OG version. But anyone that has watched me do a medieval playthrough is probably familiar with a lot of these items. So many pieces of furniture, storage, so many production facilities, as well as apparel items and weapons, and plants. Okay, so for a Sanguophage vampire run, I feel like we do have to have Vanilla Races Expanded Sanguophage, and mostly because of the new the additional death rest structures. We will play around with these new vampire types, but mostly I'm interested in, it's way down here. There are so many genes and things that are added. Tons and tons of death rest buildings. These death rest buildings typically require components. They typically require power. I've patched all that so that they don't require power. They don't require components. They require basic components from Medieval Overhaul. And the prerequisite for their research is gone. So you'll start with these right away if you play with the patch that I have added. And speaking of that, I have released a new mod. There have been so many playthroughs where I've customized mods and I've talked people through how to like customize, make little tweaks to their mods. But I find myself forgetting that I've customized a mod and end up, when I use that mod again, start making some customizations to it, and then have this feeling that I'm like, this is familiar. I feel like I've done this before. And I know that there's a version of that mod somewhere on my computer that I've customized. Well, I'm going to start keeping track of all those customizations in this mod. So it's remix, mashups and patches. There will be some things that this mod does add, like flat out. So this mod will add our BT Dubs custom factions. So this is for YouTube members and patrons. They have naming rights to a bucket for both of these factions. So the names that they've added to the friendly and hostile faction will have a high chance to spawn on pawns from this faction. And then for Patreon supporters that have Xeno type customization rights, there will be a high chance that their xenotypes will spawn in either of these factions. So right now I think that chance is set at 70% with 30% baseliners. When we get more xenotypes in the mix, it'll probably be like 100% from that pool of Patreon customized xenotypes. It also adds a mashup, and I might spin this off into a separate mod, but I've taken the Tekis style, that's vanilla, the Dune style pack, and the Sophian style packs, and I have mashed together a new style. We won't really see that in this playthrough since we're doing medieval, but I have a lot of mashups of existing styles that I kind of want to throw together. And then eventually I'll turn this into a patch. But simple capes and hood retexture, I really like this art style. I want this in my game constantly. I do like the shoulder cape from Royalty, so I just re-added it and called it a cloak. And I can turn that into a patch so that this isn't required going forward. But right now, this is what we have. Patches that I do have, and because this mod has my custom factions and the mashups, um, those style packs and alpha genes are required. So I didn't think to kind of make the alpha gene patches optional, but I think eventually I'll rework it so that it is that way. But this removes the alpha gene xenotypes. It also removes the alpha gene factions. That way I just don't have to like manually select those. And then there are a few patches, just a couple, that will apply only if these mods are loaded. So if you have vanilla apparel expanded, I removed apparel that I don't typically ever use. So things like the blouse and the skirt and the shorts, etc. And then this is probably the most relevant piece to this Sanguophage piece. And that is if you have Medieval Overhaul installed, I patched the Death Rest building. So I replaced the components with Medieval Overhaul components, remove the power comp, remove the flickable comp since they're no longer powered, remove the research prerequisite. Big note right here, and I might figure out how to fix this in the future, but if you do have Medieval Overhaul, then this patch will try and apply, so you might get an error if you don't have the VRE Sanguophage mod. I think there shouldn't be too much fallout from that patch failing, but, you know, use at your own risk if you're not using the Sanguophage mod. With Medieval Overhaul installed, it also patches our custom factions to be medieval, so they will show up in this playthrough as well. We took a look at that already. Sanguophage the Overhaul. We've played with this before, and the thing that I like about it the most is the getting rid of Death Rest capacity serum and making it so that Sanguophages or vampires have to cannibalize other vampires in order to increase their Death Rest capacity. So we'll see some vampire on vampire cannibalization going on here. But I think we're the only vampire faction that will be in the world. So that'll make things interesting, I think, for dynamics in the colony itself. Along with that, we have vampire thralls as well as a vampire thrall ritual. So we can, for our colonists that we've identified as potentially good thralls, we can give them the thrall trait. I think some genetic conditions that like make them not care about being fed on by vampires and actually have like higher mood. So we'll see how that ends up. And then Relic Rituary Ascension. We use this for the House Stormguard playthrough. It's just an alternate ending. Basically, once you've collected all your relics, then you can initiate a ritual to do an end game. And so I think with the medieval playthrough, you know, we're just going to be maybe attacking some factions, maybe defending ourselves, doing some questing. We do have Odyssey installed, so we have like a whole big world full of features out there that I would like to go explore on horseback. But, you know, when the time comes, it doesn't make sense for us to build a spaceship or do any of that other stuff, so we will end the game that way. Let me go ahead and load up the game. We'll take a look at the world. We'll take a look at our starting ideology. It is a fluid one, so it will change. And we'll take a look at the situation that our colonists are currently in. First, actually, let's hit the new colony button. I'll show you what we used for our starting scenario. We did use this new kingdom start, which I believe is from Medieval 2. Your faction will be a new kingdom, start with 8 people. Basically, this start is you start on a map with a small castle, and there are lords and knights in that castle, and your 8 colonists are peasants that have decided they've had enough. And so you can either flee that tile, or you can try and take over the castle. So we will take a look at that. If we hit next, I just want to show you storyteller settings real quick. I always do, typically do, Randy. We have, why does that pop up? Oh, it doesn't pop up until we choose a setting. Okay. We have anomaly settings disabled, except reload anytime, just because things happen when you're recording, especially when you have a cat jumping all over your desk. Custom reload anytime. Oh, and then I always set it to blood and dust, but then I make some tweaks down here, like children or babies are always healthy. We usually do wealth independent mode and some other things around colonist instant kills, right? We lower that. We lower enemy death on down to about 50%. So just little things like that. We'll be right back with the world map. Okay, here we are. We are pretty far away from things, but the world is quite a bit smaller than a typical world. We have the Empire over here. We have House Ambos, who might be buddy-buddy with the Empire. We have another house down here, some tribals. The Merchant Guild actually moves around the map. And then we have another few houses, some tribals, hostile kingdoms. Down here in the Frozen South, we have the Profaned Legion. We have the Divine Order kind of surrounding them, as if they are defending the world from this threat in the south. Oh, we have orbital traders apparently. We have the Claws of Kith. This is the hostile Patreon faction. We have the named ones, the friendly Patreon faction. Well, YouTube and Patreon faction. And then we have Vikings, both hostile. I guess one a little bit more hostile than the other, and kind of out in the middle of the nowhere is us. So I don't think we can really depend too much on trading or raiding. If we do any of that, it will be extended campaigns to head out to the Empire, who I don't think we're going to be friendly with. Or head out this way, maybe support our named ones by eliminating the Claws of Kith. But we are right here. I am hiding our colonists for now. We'll take a look at them in episode 1. Let's go ahead and actually let's take a look at the features. There are features all over this world. And we will zoom in. So our starting tile, we are starting on a tile with lava flows. There is obsidian on this tile, and there's some starting structures. So I did use Map Designer to kind of like assemble the mountains or hills in a circular area. So it feels like they found like a nice little defensive area here in the center. We do have soil relocation, so maybe we can pull in some soil from the edges of the map to make it a little bit more fertile here in the center. But we have 4 hostile pawns on our map. They have some decent weapons, and then our colonists are just random workers with random work equipment. A pickaxe, like, is that a butcher knife? It's, yeah, a butcher's cleaver, a random club. So this is where we'll start, and I will see you guys in part 1 in a bit. Bye!